up, everyone? Hope we're all doing well. Has the UFC already gave up on Payton Talbott? Because this guy at the start of the year had so much hype around him, so many people saying he's going to be the future of the bantamweight division, sizing up matches between him and Sean O'Malley, and now the UFC have just gave him a really tough matchup for his first fight back after his first ever loss back in January. But just before I reveal who he's fighting next and what the crack is, guys, if you love keeping up to date with UFC news and love UFC content in general, make sure to drop a sub. But anyways, let's get straight into it. So here we have it, guys. The next Payton Talbott fight will be against Felipe Lima at UFC 317, which takes place just next Saturday. So we get this fight very soon, just next Saturday. Just got a week, wait 1 week, and this is great matchmaking. But on the flip side as well, I am very surprised and shocked that the UFC have gone with this fight for Payton Talbott after picking up his first ever loss. Because reminder what happened when Payton Talbott last fought. He got smothered by Raoni Barcelos. He got absolutely knobbed by Raoni Barcelos. No one was saying close fight, robbery, or anything. Not even the Payton Talbott fucking Glazers or Frank Ocean Glazers could even argue that. He got absolutely knobbed for 15 minutes by Raoni Barcelos, mainly due to the grappling and his inexperience when it came to the grappling. Now, if you don't know who Felipe Lima is, he's very well-rounded, he's very good at grappling, and he can also strike. And not only that, he's very young as well. Let's go and have a little gander. Felipe Lima, 14-1, 27 years of age. This guy's really good. If you haven't seen this guy, trust me, he is very good. So I'm very surprised that they've gone with this. You know, he has a few finishes, 7 finishes altogether, 7 decisions. He beat Miles Johns on short notice, beat Muhammad Naimov on short notice, and both of these fights were in the featherweight division. And again, I think that's due to it being on short notice. But now he's going back down to the bantamweight division, and all of his other fights, he has been at bantamweight, so he's going to look quite big compared to Payton Talbott. I'm not saying that Payton Talbott's a small bantamweight, but you know, Felipe Lima has been fighting at featherweight for the past couple of fights, and he's looked really good in these fights. So last time he lost a fight was 10 years, almost 10 years ago, back in 2015, when he would have been like, what, 17 years old? He's just turned 27. This guy's got plenty of time to go. He's got to prove himself. Raoni Barcelos was like, what, 37? Don't get me wrong, he's got a lot of experience. But I really think that Payton Talbott is in for it when it comes to this fight. And I'm really surprised that the UFC have gone down this route. I think it's great matchmaking. Don't get me wrong, I think there's definitely a possibility that Payton Talbott wins this fight. But I'm going to put my money on Felipe Lima, even though I don't bet. But I'm going to put my money on Felipe Lima to win this one, because he's very well-rounded. Submitted Naimov on his UFC debut. Naimov's a good name, Muhammad Naimov. A good name on short notice. I think it was like 2 weeks notice. Fucking crazy. And also beat Miles Johns on short notice as well. Looked really good. He's really good at range. Really good kicks. Very fast. Very good kickboxing at kickboxing range. The only weakness I've really seen, in the pocket, he can be hit. So maybe Payton Talbott can get him there. But even so, I feel like we've seen most of Talbott's success at range. Then again, we have seen some nice work in the pocket as well against Cameron Simon and whatnot. So I'm really interested in this fight. I think it is good matchmaking, but ultimately this is a really tough matchup. And I'm going to see people say, oh, well, you know, is it really tough matchmaking? This is the UFC. At the end of the day, you need tough matchups. Let me just show you who Sean O'Malley fought after he lost to Chito Vera. Thomas fucking Almeida. After he lost to Chito Vera, he was fighting Thomas Almeida, who was on like a 3-fight losing skid. A 3-fight losing skid. You compare that. You compare that to, obviously, Payton Talbott, yeah, not Thomas Almeida, who's washed and been finished a couple times on a couple fight losing streak. No, he gets fucking Jungle Boy, who hasn't lost in 10 years and has been looking really good in his last few fights. This is how I know that the UFC don't care about Payton Talbott anymore. And that's why I say that the UFC have failed him in a sense, because we no longer give a shit about Payton Talbott. He managed to generate so much hype because of the look of him, the aura, as people like to say, getting some devastating knockouts and whatnot. And now they really don't care. And I think according to the bout order as well, I think he's headlining the early prelims. He's gone from headlining the prelims at UFC 311, I think it was, to now headlining the early prelims instead. He's been demoted to the early prelims, so I'm very surprised by this. Again, do I believe Payton Talbott has a chance? But I feel like if you've been watching it, Felipe Lima, you know that Felipe Lima is more than likely going to win this one. He's been looking really good. And I just don't think it's wise where Payton Talbott looks so lost in the grappling side of things against Raoni Barcelos, who's primarily a striker. Don't get me wrong, I know he just showcased good grappling skills against Cody Garbrandt as well, but primarily Raoni Barcelos was known for being a striker, hence why people call him fucking the bantamweight Jose Aldo for a period, until Jose Aldo came down to the bantamweight division. You know, Felipe Lima is actually a grappler, and a very good grappler. Submitted Naimov on his UFC debut on short notice. This is a very tough matchup. Felipe Lima is going to be the bigger guy, in my opinion. He's going to be the more experienced guy. He's the more well-rounded guy. I'm going for Felipe Lima in this one, and I feel like the UFC haven't done any favors for Payton Talbott with this matchmaking. If Payton Talbott can win this fight, I feel like the casuals won't give a shit. But for people who know MMA, I think that's a very good win. I think that is a very good win. On paper, it might not look the best, but trust me, that is a very good win. And if Payton Talbott can get past Felipe Lima, fair fucking play. But I think Felipe Lima is going to be too much for Payton Talbott. But guys, let me know in the comments, are you excited for this fight? I feel like this fight has made UFC 317 a lot more exciting, a lot more better. Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov has been moved from 317 to 318. So I feel like a fight like this helps 317 a lot more now as well. Two prospects going at it. I love those matchups where two prospects who are still a bit green in their 20s go at it. I love that sort of matchmaking. But who do you think wins this one? Are you excited for this fight? Do you think that the UFC aren't doing any favors for Payton Talbott? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.